Evening, peeps. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing very, very well. I can't lie yet. Today was one of those days where I just love my job. Like, really, really love it. And look, I'm lucky. I get to talk about sport for a living. And I know that I'm in a privileged position just because I remember the position I was in 6 years ago when I was working for the council. So don't get me wrong. Any day that I get to go in to talk sport, or I do Sky, or I do DAZN, I realise that I am very, very lucky. But it does come with some stress. There is stress to what I do. But today was one of those days where I just thought, I'm bloody lucky. So I found out at like 1 a.m. that Israel Adesanya is coming to talk sport. And I was like, what? Like, just so random. I was like, huh? Didn't even know he was in London. He was coming to talk sport and he was going to be on the breakfast show with Darren Bent and Laura Woods. And that was it. And then he was going to do a bit of social media. I obviously wasn't asked to do anything, but I thought, fuck that, I'm going in. My show doesn't start till 3 p.m. I know Izzy was going to get there around 8:30. So it's a long wait till my show if it goes wrong. But I was like, I don't care. If I'm in the building and Israel Adesanya is in the building, there is no way I'm not doing something with him. There's just no way I'm not doing an interview with him. Sometimes you got to back yourself. So as soon as I got into TalkSport Towers, they're like, Ade, you're here. I was like, you damn right I'm here. Perfect. You do Izzy. So he went on to like the breakfast show and then he done like a 10, 15 minute sit down with me. And look, I've interviewed quite a lot of people, some really high profile footballers, obviously a lot of boxers. That was as big as it gets for me. And some might say, what about AJ? I mean, don't get me wrong, AJ, but AJ, because he's based over here, it's easier to get to AJ. I see AJ at a lot of events. I'm probably going to see AJ on the weekend. Izzy, you just don't get to see. He's based in either LA or he's in New Zealand. So it's rare. UFC middleweight champion, obviously Nigerian background like myself. And I loved it. And he was fantastic. So today's one of those days where you just like, I don't know, you just realize how lucky you are to do it. Like, I'm getting paid to do that. Do you know, that's fucking ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So yeah, one of those days, which was crazy. A lot of you guys probably already know about this if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Why don't you follow me on Instagram? Follow me, please. Ade.oladipo. So Ade and then my surname. All right, anyway, let's talk about Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. Now, a lot of you, like myself, were waiting up until the early hours of this morning just to, before we go to bed, basically, to make sure that Dillian Whyte has signed his part of the agreement to face Tyson Fury. There was some speculation that he wasn't going to do it and that he was either going to, take a 2-fight deal with DAZN and one of those fights be AJ, the other fight be Chisora. I think a lot of you told me that the Sun reported that. That was a backup plan. You got to have a backup plan, right? You can't just have plan A. You got to have plan B, C, and D. That was plan B and C. If it didn't get done, it got done. Dillian Whyte signed his part of the deal, and we are all set. All systems go for April 23rd. Now, I was going to say Wembley. That's the preferred venue. I spoke to Frank Warren today, or I was in a meeting where Frank Warren spoke to a number of people at TalkSport, and he said that Wembley isn't 100%. They're looking at venues. So Wembley isn't, it's penciled in, but it definitely isn't rubber stamped. Ideally, they use Wembley because Wembley, obviously, 90,000. It's in London. It's just better. Wembley's better. It really is. If not Wembley, the stadium they were looking at before is the Principality Stadium in Wales, which again, big stadium. But we know, look, they're going to do a stadium fight. It's going to happen. It's a stadium fight. Tyson Fury, I think, on his social media saying that he's now going to go into like quiet mode, like he's going to remove his social media or not post on social media. I still think there will be posts, but I don't think it's going to be him. I think he did something similar to the Wilder fight. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, he's still on social media. I don't think it's him that posted it. I think he just hands it over to one member of his team or something. But Tyson Fury's pretty much said what he's had to say. All was still radio silent from Dillian Whyte, which I still find so strange. Look, it could be that he is fully focused on the job and he doesn't want to talk, doesn't need to talk, doesn't even really need to sell the fight, if I'm honest with you. But there will be a press conference next week, so he's going to have to talk then. Or is he? I don't know. There was a lot of talk about Dillian Whyte wanting some money to do the press conference. I have no idea what's going on there, but it'd be pretty silly if he doesn't come to start the promotion for the fight. You want to make as much money as possible. I would hate to think that he's now got his guarantee, and whether or not it bombs at the box office, whether or not people put bums on seats, he's probably thinking, regardless, I've got my money. I wouldn't want that. I think this fight deserves a build-up. I actually think it deserves, I was going to say a worldwide tour. Not that, but at least a city tour in the UK. I think there should be a press conference in London. I think there should be a press conference in Manchester. I think there should be a press conference, potentially even Birmingham. Like, there should be press conference. I think this is a fantastic fight. It really is. Or maybe not fantastic, because I think Fury wins it and could win it comfortably, but I think it's a big fight. It really is a huge fight. This is Tyson Fury's homecoming. He hasn't fought in the UK for a long time. He certainly hasn't fought in a stadium over here. And Dillian Whyte's fights have been behind closed doors. You think about it. Dillian Whyte was supposed to fight Otto Wallin. Didn't do that. Didn't fight Otto Wallin. Then, obviously, the Povetkin fight was in Gibraltar, behind closed doors. The Povetkin fight before that was at Fight Camp, behind closed doors. So for Dillian Whyte, this is huge for him. And if it happens in London, obviously Dillian Whyte being from Brixton, even bigger. So well, I'm very excited. I'm more happy that it's just happened, because there was a lot of nonsense going on behind the scenes, and we weren't privy to it. I still think there is some things going on behind the scenes, because it's almost like I've said on the thumbnail, signed and sealed. It's signed. Sealed should be a question mark. I still think there are things that need to be ironed out, but I think Dillian Whyte signing his part of the agreement says that he wants to fight, says that he, I guess, is okay or at least content with the split. And look, we get, you know what, yeah, we've got a ridiculous couple of months coming up. Like, honestly, if you think about what we've got in 3 months, so let's kind of go until the end of May or the middle of May, it looks like we're going to get Canelo versus Bivol. GGG versus Murata will happen by the end of May as well. You go a bit further back than that, and you've got Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez. You've got Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. A bit further back than that, and obviously it looks like, and we can only keep our fingers crossed with this, that we've got Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. There will be some good fights, hopefully chucked on the undercard of that. You've got Conlan versus Lee Wood. Josh Warrington versus Kiko Martinez. AJ, Gareth A. Davis said he spoke to, it was at the Amir Khan Kell Brook fight, and he said he spoke to a few people from 258 management, and they pretty much confirmed that AJ will fight Usyk next, and they're looking at a date in May. There's a lot going on in the next 3 months, so it is good times for boxing. In terms of how this fight plays out, obviously, look, we're going to do so many videos in the lead up to it. This is just a case of saying it is done. But in terms of how it plays out, look, Dillian Whyte's got a great chance. And the reason I say he's got a... Should I rein that back in? Dillian Whyte's got a good chance. And the reason I say he's got a good chance is because Tyson Fury's taken a lot of punishment recently. Some might say so is Dillian Whyte, if I'm honest with you. But Tyson Fury's taken a lot of punishment. Those 3 fights, and look, I thought he won all 3. He certainly won 2, obviously, and then the draw I thought he won as well. But he's taken a lot of right hands from what a lot of people say is the hardest puncher ever in the heavyweight division. Like, that just doesn't disappear. Like, you can't just take that punishment and then think, oh, okay, I'm fine. That punishment will take its toll on you. And who knows? I mean, you know, sometimes people are in the ring and it's just not there because of the punishment they've previously taken. Who knows? Is Tyson Fury a favourite? Yeah, I'll maybe say a 70-30 favourite, but Dillian Whyte's a good fighter. He'll come to fight, he'll brawl. And for some people online, are like, it's rubbish. What are you out of your mind? Dillian Whyte will come and he will give it, and that's all we can ask for. He will come and he will give it. And I actually, if I'm honest with you, I don't think that Tyson Fury is going to like it when Dillian Whyte is on his chest, and Dillian Whyte's not going to try and have a boxing match with Tyson Fury. He's not going to stay off him as well. He's not going to fear his power. He's going to go in, get close, and make this as rough as humanly possible. And I don't think Tyson Fury is going to like it. Do I think Tyson Fury will win and adjust and make the necessary changes? Yes, I do. But I also think that Dillian Whyte is training his arse off in Portugal right now, getting in the best possible shape, getting in the best possible sparring partners, and he will try. He really will try. And look, it's basically 2 semi-finals here. Obviously, Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury, should I say Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, and then Usyk, AJ. And your money would be on Fury versus Usyk, but in the end, we still could get Fury versus AJ. It could happen. It really could. But look, you must be excited, people. I am. I'm very excited for it. It's a fight that has dragged on and dragged on with the split, with the mandatory. Will he sign? Won't he sign? Now, obviously, it's a case of where it's going to happen. There were some whispers I heard in TalkSport Towers today about the fight going to the Middle East. Ain't going to the Middle East. It's going to happen here. It's going to be chucked on pay-per-view. It's going to do incredible numbers. Incredible numbers. And yeah, and it's all good for British boxing. Talking of incredible numbers, just before we go, I heard that Amir Khan, Kell Brook, and we'll do a video on this once it's confirmed, but I spoke to Simon Jordan today. He spoke to Ben Shalom, and I'm hearing that Amir Khan, Kell Brook done around 600,000 pay-per-view buys. They were expecting or wanting a bit more, but I think that's good. In fact, I think that's more than good. 600,000 pay-per-view buys for a fight that is 7-8 years past its best. Two fighters that are way past their best, and two fighters that have not fought in 2.5 and 2 years respectively. I think that's solid numbers. Yeah, we all want a bit more numbers, but no, we're not going to get them. So guys, look, are you excited? Let me know. Leave a comment. As always, peace and love.